This is my long-term review of the Redmi Note 9S after owning it for 9 months. The Redmi Note 9S is a budget smartphone with a flagship look. It has glass at the rear and it looks amazing when light hits it. The glass is Corning Gorilla Glass 5, which helps to keep scratches away, but it attracts fingerprints like no man's business. With the glass rear, this is not the most durable smartphone. Luckily, replacing the glass is not expensive. The Redmi Note 9S has a plastic frame and the display is protected with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 as well. Over the months I have used this device, the smartphone held up really well, and that's because I used the TPU case that came in the box. So for the build quality, it scores 10 out of 10, but for durability, maybe I'll give it a 7 over 10 because of the glass rear. What about the weight? Well, it isn't the most comfortable smartphone to hold at 210 grams. On the right side of this device, you will find the volume and the power buttons. The power button doubles as the fingerprint scanner, and unlocking this smartphone with it is fast. It isn't the fastest I have used. That will go to the Infinix 08 and the Tecno Camon 16 Premier, but the Redmi Note 9S is still fast nonetheless. The face unlock feature is fast as well, and it works in poor lighting conditions. Moving to the bottom of this smartphone, it comes with a single speaker, a mic, a USB Type-C port, and a 3.5mm audio jack. The single speaker sounds okay. Put it next to a dual stereo speaker smartphone like the Poco X3 NFC, it holds its ground. The audio isn't as loud as the others, but it sounds okay. Now listening to the audio using the 3.5mm audio jack sounds loud and rich. For the display, the Redmi Note 9S comes with a 6.67-inch IPS LCD display with a resolution of 1080 by 2400 pixels, and it has a maximum brightness of 400 nits, which makes the display visible under direct sunlight. It's a 60Hz panel, which is in the rave at the moment. It's clear, sharp, but unfortunately, scrolling is not as smooth as I would like it to be. In the settings, you can change the display from light to dark mode. I prefer light mode as the dark mode seems to be buggy. You can also change the color scheme and temperature. For the weirdos out there, you can change the notch style. Now, viewing content on this display is enjoyable. The notch doesn't get in your way, but with the arrival of the Redmi Note 10 Pro and the Redmi Note 10 with AMOLED displays, this display might look outdated because of the IPS LCD panel that it's using. But apart from that, it's a very good display, and over the months I've owned this device, I really enjoyed watching content on it. For the cameras, I don't know if you can see it, but around the camera cutout there's a bit of screen bleeding. It isn't a deal breaker, it won't distract you, but it's there. The front camera comes with a 16MP f2.5 camera and it takes very good pictures. It isn't as sharp as the Poco X3 NFC, but it's really close. Now the camera software has the palm shutter mode that allows you to use your palm to take a picture. Night mode on this smartphone isn't good. The front camera doesn't have a dedicated LED flashlight, but it uses the display as its flash and it takes decent pictures at night. For video, the front camera can shoot in 1080p at 30 frames per second. It doesn't have image stabilization, but the quality of the video looks good. Hello guys, now this is the front-facing camera of the Redmi Note 9S. Right now I'm shooting in 1080p, 30 frames per second, and this is the highest resolution. For the front-facing camera, it doesn't have image stabilization, so yeah, if you run, your image is just going to be all over the place. So what do you guys think about the video quality and audio quality coming out from the Redmi Note 9S from the front camera? Let me know in the comment section below. It can also record in slow motion at 120 frames per second, but the resolution is 720p. Moving to the rear cameras, the Redmi Note 9S comes with a 48MP main camera, an 8MP ultra-wide camera, a 5MP macro camera, and a 2MP depth camera. The main camera is a 12MP sensor, and using the 48M mode through pixel binning, it captures the image 4 times, merge them into one to give you a 48MP image. And with the improved image quality, the file size is larger. 2x zoom is alright, and it also has panorama mode to take ultra wide shots. And that's not the end of the features. You can also create time lapse with this smartphone. For video, the Redmi Note 9S can shoot in 4K 30 frames per second with no image stabilization. Image stabilization is available when you drop the resolution to 1080p 30 frames per second and it's stable. It also has the Pro mode where you can change the focal length, the ISO and white balance. This is very useful for those that like manual settings to have more controls in creating a video. Overall, the rear camera of this smartphone does a very good job considering the price of the device, and it's been very reliable whenever I want to use it to take a picture. Now, my Redmi Note 9S is still running Android 10 with MIUI 12.0.3. It hasn't gotten the Android 11 update yet, but any moment from now it should get it. For the special features, it has the game turbo mode that allows you to take a screenshot, record your gameplay, open and use other apps while you're still playing a game. It has a video toolbox that allows you to turn off the display and listen to a song on apps like YouTube. You can also record your screen with it, share what you're watching to another display and launch another application. It has the floating window feature, second space which is very popular, and the light mode which gives you bigger icons and text. Now, the Redmi Note 9S comes with a Snapdragon 720G processor. It's an 8nm processor and it's a fast mid-range processor. I made a video comparing it with the Poco X3 NFC with a Snapdragon 732G processor. The 720G processor isn't as fast as the 732G processor, but it held its ground and I'm extremely happy with the performance. With 6GB of RAM, multitasking has been fantastic, although MIUI is very aggressive in closing down apps that run in the background to save a bit of battery and improve performance, but that hasn't bothered me in my day-to-day usage. Now, here's the Antutu benchmark score of this device, and for the Geekbench score, this is the result. As you can see, this smartphone hasn't slowed down over the months I've been using it. The Redmi Note 9S also comes with an Adreno 618 GPU, and that has helped games like PUBG, Call of Duty to run well, but not at the highest graphics settings. Genshin Impact is playable at the lower settings and it will hang if you try to run it on high settings and high frame rates, while Real Racing is playable. Now, the battery in the Redmi Note 9S is a 5020 mAh battery and it held up very well, I must say. I usually get a full day usage out of it. It takes about 1 hour 57 minutes to charge this device from 0 to 100%, which isn't great. Now, right now, the price of the Redmi Note 9S is 96,000 Naira or $200 for the 4GB RAM, 64GB internal storage, and 106,000 Naira or $220 for the 6GB RAM, 128GB internal storage option. Bear in mind it might be cheaper or more expensive depending on your region, but after using the Redmi Note 9S for a while, it's been a very lovely smartphone for me. It offers good value for money and it still looks modern. It has a very good build quality. The 1080p display isn't an AMOLED panel, but it's still a good display to consume media on. The battery life is right up there and will last the entire day. The cameras capture good pictures and videos. The performance is good for a budget smartphone and mine hasn't slowed down a bit. So guys, this is my long-term review of the Redmi Note 9S. If you own this device, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And if you're thinking of buying it right now, I would suggest you consider the Redmi Note 10 Pro. So we've come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Valor signing out.